Welcome back to Around the Campfire with AmeriCamp, the ultimate summer camp podcast. I am here today with Abby, and we're going to be having a little bit of a chat about her experience at camp, some of her top tips. So do you want to start off by introducing yourself and telling us which camp you went to?
Yeah, so hey, I'm Abby, and I went to Camp Chippewa, which was in upstate New York, and I had the best summer ever last year.
Amazing, love that. What was your role at camp?
I was actually the social media specialist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that was really a thing, and then because I was originally hired as a general, and then kind of reached out to camp because I saw some people talking about social media and photography roles. Spoke to the team, and I think I'm very biased, but I definitely think I had the best job at camp.
Yeah, literally in our last podcast episode we were talking about like literally everyone says they had the best job at camp. Everyone's like, no, my job was the best job at camp. But I've heard social media is like a really cool thing to do at camp because you kind of get to get stuck into absolutely everything because you're kind of like making
so
content
good.
of everything. That's so cool. Well, yeah, sort of running on from that, do you want to tell us a bit about how your summer was? What was your favorite parts, some highlights, favorite memories, stuff like that?
Yeah, oh my god, where do I even begin? I loved orientation. I feel like it was such a nice way to kind of ease into camp and get used to kind of living in bunks because I'd obviously never done that before.
Yeah.
Never shared a room. Like, it was really strange. But I loved it. Like, when I came home, I did not want to have to like sleep in my own room. I was like, where are my friends? This is weird.
I'm lonely. What's going on?
Yeah. So I loved orientation, loved, like, we did some sports. They kind of arranged little sports games for us to kind of little icebreakers to get to know each other.
Yeah.
We had a really fun scavenger hunt all around our camp. The camp was huge. Like, I was dying by the end of it. I was so out of breath. We were like running around, and I think it was to win like camp merch, and we were like, no, I will win the camp merch.
I have to have it.
Yeah. Unfortunately we didn't win, but you know, never mind. But it was such a nice way to kind of get to know like the other staff members and stuff, and kind of break the ice a little bit. And it's not too serious. I mean, there is obviously the side where you got to have your talks and like do all your learning and stuff.
Yeah.
But it definitely is like all the fun stuff just beats that. Like, it's just the most fun week.
Yeah.
I remember when the kids arrived, I was like, you're ruining my fun. Like, I was going on all these activities and now you take the priorities.
Yes. Now you have to do the activities. That was my job. What do you mean?
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I feel like that first week of camp I really had to like adjust. I hadn't really worked with kids before, only been around kind of like, I've got quite a young family, so being around very young cousins and stuff, that's kind of how I'd been around kids. So going from not really being like, you know, that involved with kids to literally living with them was quite the adjustment. But by the end of the summer, I did not want to say goodbye to those girls. Like, I was sobbing, they were sobbing. I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss you. I think some of my favourite memories, that is so hard because there's so many. Colour war,
like picking some is so hard.
Yeah. I think being picked for Olympics captain, that was really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like when you're there, you're like, I don't really get it, and then when you come home, you're like, yeah, I was actually Olympics captain last year.
It's actually a massive flex. I don't know if you guys knew, but
yeah. I remember all my American like friends, because they'd kind of grown up going to the camp. They were like, oh my god, this is huge, and I was like, is it? Like, okay. And then we won. Canada won Olympics.
That's
it was
so
absolutely
cool.
fabulous. Yeah. Although I was kind of sad because like we had two, like a boy and a girl basically representing like the kids as like the captains, and they got the medals and we didn't. And I was like, I really wish I got a medal. But like, you know, I guess the kids can get it. And just like general, like I love OD nights. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect, but like I feel like I should have cherished those nights a bit more. Like, for us, we had a bunk mouse, so we had two mice in our bunk, and I was determined. I was like, right, I've had enough, because I'm still. One night I had a dream that it was in my bed and it woke me up and I like freaked out, and I'm still not sure if it was actually in my bed or if I dreamt it. So I was like, I am done with this. I will catch that mouse. And I think it was literally 2 weeks before the end of summer. I was putting my laundry away and I saw it, and it was right next to me. And I was like, I've had enough of this. And I literally like emptied one of my drawers and just put it on the top. I was like, guys, I've caught the bunk mouse.
I've done it.
I was like, I've absolutely peaked. There's nothing else I can do at camp that's gonna peak this.
That's so funny. It is like
But,
definitely
yeah.
like the small things at camp. Like you do become such a big kid
Absolutely.
that like stuff that in your normal everyday life you'd be like, oh, it's like not that big a deal. Like you're at camp, it's
100%.
the biggest deal in the world, literally ever.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Like, I remember coming home and be like, oh my God, this was so funny. And, like, talking about getting up on the chairs and the dining hall and
Yeah.
standing on the table and dancing and singing. I'm like, Brits could never, like, survive.
never.
Like, if I was to get up and
Never.
do this at home, I think my parents would be like, sit down, or what
Like,
are you doing?
why are you up there?
Yeah, and we all had I think there was a Kelly Clarkson song that we like had like a camp dance to. Everyone kind of knew it.
Yeah.
So like the second you heard it start playing, like everyone was up doing it. I think we were all, there was like a big group of us that went to Nashville and they played it in Nashville and we were all just like doing the
I
dance.
love that.
And people were like, are you okay? Like, how have you got a choreographed dance?
Yeah. It's like a proper, like, you had to be there kind of thing. Like, you feel like
Yeah.
you're part of an exclusive club. Like, you have these little in-jokes and, like, little
Yeah.
like, traditions that you've done. And you're like, you wouldn't get it because you weren't there.
Yeah. Honestly, like, if I feel like there's so many little bits that, like, you have to be there, like you have to go and do it, otherwise you will
Yeah.
never quite get it. And I love that I've
100%.
made so many friends that I can be like, oh my God, do you remember when that happened?
Yeah.
Like, how funny was that?
It's like such a special bond as well when you've like got that with someone and you've got all of these like
Yeah.
shared like really special memories, and yeah, it makes you like so much closer, which is so nice.
Yeah, because you're kind of forced to get close with like the other counsellors because you're
Yeah.
living together and even on your days off you're with those counsellors. So I think it was like the perfect opportunity to make like so many friends. Like
Yeah,
I still talk to them
100%.
daily. Like I love it.
Yeah, it's so nice. They like last for like so much longer after camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to camp like 5 years ago. I'm still friends with my camp friends. So
I love
it's
that.
proper like lifetime memories, which is so nice. Moving on to the next question then. Did you sort of before you went out for your first summer, obviously everyone's got like a rough idea of what they're getting themselves into, but like did you have any expectations of camp before you went? Was there anything that surprised you?
As a camp rock fan, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm so excited to like be dancing down the forest to the other camp being like camp rock. I think it definitely took some adjusting to kind of being a little bit more extroverted. I feel like as a Brit you're naturally a little bit introverted anyway, more than the
100%, yeah.
Americans. So kind of coming out of my shell a little bit, that took like a few weeks just to kind of get used to things. But going into camp, I think I just watched so many YouTube videos and so many different kind of TikToks and stuff. I was like, I will be so prepared. I still wasn't prepared. Like I packed the complete wrong stuff. I got there and had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, you know what? Like as much as I'd love to say I was so prepared, I was so not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was more prepared for the travel after camp than I was actually.
Love that. It's always the way.
Yeah.
Always the way. I mean, I always say
Yeah.
there's not a lot that can prepare you for camp. Like it is
No.
unlike literally anything ever. But that's kind of like the best bit of it is you turn up and you're
Oh,
like, whoa,
absolutely.
this isn't what I expected, but okay.
Yeah, I loved it. I think because it was such a unique experience. Oh my God, like I feel like if I was to go back, I don't know if it would be the same, and that makes me nervous. I'm like, I do want, because this year I couldn't go, but there's like talks about next year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but like no one that like none of the people that I went last year with will probably go. So I'm like, oh, is it gonna be the same? Like I don't know what to expect.
Everyone has
Yeah.
those like returner nerves, like going back for your second year. Everyone's like, oh my God, is it going to be the same? Like, is it going to be really different? Literally everyone goes back and has like the most incredible
Yeah.
time anyway. So
Yeah, I'm so jealous. Like seeing my friends, like some of them are already there for pre-camp.
yeah.
And I'm like, what's it like? Oh, I really wish I was
It's
going
not
back.
fair. I wish I was there. Literally, so
Yeah.
many of us are having that in the office at the moment because like everybody's
Oh,
going out
yeah.
to camp and we're in the office. It's like we just want to be at camp.
Yeah, I'd much rather be going to camp than be in the office. I feel you on
Yeah,
that.
100%. With like the rubbish weather, it's always the way.
Oh my God, yeah, what is happening? Like, where did the sunshine go?
Actually terrible. Last weekend was gorgeous and now it's all cloud.
Yeah.
That's why you should go to camp because it's sunny literally
Exactly.
all the time. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Great. Well, sort of going on to the next question then. Sort of like getting hired at Chippenham, sort of how did that happen for you? Did you get hired at a fair? Did you get hired online? What was the process like?
Yeah, so I went to a fair in London and that's how I got hired. I did actually speak to like a good number of camps. I wanted to be a rope specialist, but I literally had no experience. I was like, I feel like someone might hire me, someone might trust me. I was like,
Maybe.
when they asked what my experience was, I was like, I just really enjoy it. Like, I've done it a few times and they're like, we're really sorry, but like, we can't. And I'm a bit of a panicker. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. And I was texting my mum, like, I don't know what to do. Everyone said no. Because what I did beforehand was kind of make a list of all the camps that I was interested in before I went.
Yeah.
So I went to those first. And then I kind of was like, you know what, I'm just going to go talk to everyone, see what they have to offer.
Yeah.
And then I met the person hiring for Chippenham and sat down with them, and I was like, oh my God, wait, this is so cool. And I remember seeing them online, but the dates for camp were slightly off for me. Personally, I wanted the camp to last until the 17th of August, if not longer, so I could be out there for my birthday. Like, my visa
so
would
nice.
last.
Yeah.
And then I managed to do some like post-camp stuff with them, so my visa lasted me, so I stayed out for my birthday in America, which was perfect.
Worked out perfectly.
So yeah, I just sat down with them, and initially I was a general, so they were like, kind of, they want very specific experience when it comes to the more specialist areas, but it's like valid because these kids are like, their parents obviously paying quite a lot to go.
100%.
So they so they don't want, like, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So I went as a general, and I remember coming out and be like, I actually don't even know where I'm going. Like, I knew the camp, I didn't know where it was. I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, I remember coming out and people being like, oh my God, where are you going? Where are you going? Like, the staff were asking me, like, oh, where'd you get hired? And I was like, Chippenham. And I remember a few people saying, like, that's a really nice camp. Like, go you. And I was like,
really
it is?
Camp.
And then I Googled it after. I was like, I'm going to Camp Chippenham. Like, I'm so excited. Yeah.
That's so
and
fun.
then realised, and then I realised I was in New York, and then I was like, yeah, I'm actually moving to New York in the summer.
Yeah. It makes it sound like really impressive. Yeah, I'm actually moving to New York.
Yeah, they're like, oh, like Manhattan? No, like upstate in the mountains.
Like the middle of nowhere.
No, literally. That's one thing I was not expecting. Like, you are literally, there's nothing around you.
100%. It is really, because my camp was in Pennsylvania, and exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, in the middle of nowhere, like nothing around. But it's amazing. Like, it's so nice. You don't really have like many places like that in the UK. So to just be like that far away from everything and just be like out in the countryside is so nice.
The fresh air, like, I was like, wow, I can breathe so well.
It's like so cheesy. You wake up every morning and you're just like, no,
literally. Yeah, I remember during orientation, like, where I was a bit jet lagged, I think I was getting up like 4 or 5 a.m. And I was like, might as well just get up. And I remember sitting on the steps of the porch to my bunk and just watching like this family of like deer walk across the side. And I was like, I love life. This is so wholesome.
This is just great. You have so many of those moments at camp where you're just like, this is perfect. Like, I'm literally living a dream. This is unreal.
Yeah. I feel like those little, like, solo moments, they're rare. They are rare.
Very rare.
But those little moments where you just have a few minutes to yourself and you're just sat there like, I'm so lucky. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then also as well, like, I think I had so many of those moments doing, like, big camp traditions as well, where, like, everyone was all together and you kind of,
around
like,
the campfire,
look at, like, everyone and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually here. Like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. This is crazy.
100%, yeah.
So what was your favourite camp tradition? Do you have like a couple? Is there one specific one that stands out, or is it really hard to pick? Because usually it's really hard to pick.
Yeah, I loved how, like, it was very, like, one big family. Like, it was so nice. There was no, like... It was very, like, unproblematic. Everyone was so happy to be there and grateful to be there.
Yeah.
And it was just really family-like. I think probably they had a tradition called MTV Night, which they do every year.
Cool.
And it was so much fun to watch. So each division basically came up with a dance, and then they did that dance for like, and then it was like a competition which age division would win. I was with the inters, which obviously were the youngest.
Yeah.
So we didn't really stand a chance, unfortunately. I was like, yes, we're gonna win this. Then I remember my American counselors being like, I hate to break it to you, but the older kids can dance. And I was like, oh, okay.
Never mind
then. Yeah, I was like, what do you mean my 9-year-olds aren't gonna win? What are you saying? We had this whole like because I think we had like 44 inters, girls, just inter girls, yeah. So we each one was split up into like their bunk, if that makes sense, like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
And then each one was like a Taylor Swift era. So
that's so good.
We had them all come on quick for like 10 seconds and then they'd go off because they're not very good at learning like a full like couple minute dance. Yeah. But the older girls, oh my god, like I was watching them like, am I watching Dance Moms right now? Like, this is phenomenal. I'm like, you came up with that on the tennis courts an hour ago? Like, that's insane. These kids are talented.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It is really funny, like, noticing the difference between the younger ones and the older ones as well. Like, the older ones are actually, like, especially, like, the older ones, they're, like, actual real people with, like, skills and stuff, which is, like, crazy. Because it's, like, you're a kid. Like, how can you do stuff better than I can? What do you mean?
Yeah, some of them are like insanely talented. Like we had some like shows where they put on like musical theatre shows, and like the talent at the camp was insane.
It is so cool, and it's so cool like being a part of that as well. Like even for the younger ones, like they're not going to be as good at dancing and singing and stuff because they're only literally babies, but like it's so nice like seeing them grow over the summer and like building those skills and being absolutely. Like I was part of that. That's really nice.
Yeah, I know. I had one girl who was one of mine and she could sing. Like she could sing so well. Like I would be like, hey, can you please get dressed? And she'd be singing on the balcony. I was like, can you get in the shower? She'd be singing her heart out. I'm like, oh my god.
Literally Snow White.
Then, literally, I was like, you sound amazing, but like, I really do need you to like get dressed now. So she was like got the main role in one of the last shows, and she also sang in the talent show, and she was so good. And I remember it being my day off, and I was like, I promised her, I was like, I will come. And I got there and I saw her, I was like, I am so proud of you. But like those little moments are just like, I just love like thinking back and like she didn't want to do it, she was nervous, and then I was like, come on, I'll be there, and then she did it and she absolutely like rocked the house down, and I was like, I just love that, like it's so sweet.
Lovely. That's so lovely. So yeah, I mean, sort of like moving on from your time at camp into sort of like post-camp travel, what were some of your favorite places that you kind of visited after camp?
I had the best time after camp. It was insane. We started off in New York City because we were obviously based in New York, so we were very lucky that they dropped us off in the city, so you could either get taken to the airport or they dropped us off into Manhattan, which was perfect. And quite a lot of people stayed in the city for the first few nights, so there was some little meetups here and there in Central Park, and we were supposed to be there, but we went the wrong way on the subway and ended up like halfway into Brooklyn. So we didn't make it, unfortunately, but there was like a big football game they put on. Well, I say American football. I feel like I'm starting to get like American language. I still forget sometimes. I'm like, wait, it wasn't football, it was American football.
American football.
It wasn't soccer, it was football.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did New York City, then we went to Washington. Absolutely loved Washington. There's so much stuff to do there for free. Like, it's perfect. We stayed in I think our hostel was called like the Generator or something, and it was so good. Like, you could walk to everything. And we went to like the zoo was free, the memorial was obviously free. It's literally perfect. Then where did we go next? Nashville was next, I think, which was so cool. There must have been about 50 people from camp that all kind of made it to Nashville at the same time.
That's so
cool.
So
that was really fun. There was huge Airbnbs being rented out. Like, it was so cool. I was like already severely overweight in my suitcase. Of course I had to buy cowboy boots. So that was fun. I feel like I went in every single cowboy boot shop there was. Like, I had to.
You have to. It's like the law if you're in Nashville. You have to look at all of the cowboy boots. No, it literally
is. Because, there might be one that's different, but they're all the same. After Nashville, was Charleston, which, oh my God, like, me and Lily, who went, we like, when we're older, we're going to have beach houses in Charleston together, and like, we're going to go there all the time. I don't know where we think we're going to get our millions from to do that, but
wishful thinking.
We would love to. Yeah, we can, manifest it. Hopefully it becomes a reality.
100%, yes.
Yeah, and then after Charleston, I went to Orlando for one night because we then went on a cruise, which was insane.
So nice.
Yeah, so again, I think there was like 30 people from camp all made it on the cruise as well. Yeah, so that was really cool. We went to Haiti, Jamaica, and the Bahamas.
Wow.
I know, which was insane. It was literally, I think we spent $550 for 6 nights, and it was all inclusive.
That's really good. That's actually a bargain.
Yeah, and we didn't even have the lowest grade room either. Because I was with my friends, but they were all boys. Yeah. Because all the girls had I technically wasn't going, and then I changed my mind. And I was like, oh, I need a room.
Yeah, I guess I have
to. Went in with, and then I went in with the boys, and they were like, oh, we're not gonna get a window or anything. We're just getting inside. I was like, can we have a window, please? Just make it a little bit nicer.
Just
I was like,
window.
I'll pay the difference. The difference was $50 or something. I was like, I'll pay the $50. I don't mind. At least a window, please. But we had so much fun. It was insane, and there was so much to do. There was shows. There was an ice rink on the cruise.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I know. And I'm actually a trained figure skater, so I was loving life. It was
literally having the best time.
But it was so good. I was like, guys, it was so embarrassing because I was like, oh, guys, I'm such a good ice skater. I'm so good. And then I literally got on the ice and fell over. I was like, oh, no, this is so embarrassing.
Straight away, just flat on your face.
Literally, we've been in the Bahamas that day, and I was like, I think I had one too many cocktails before I decided to do this.
Yeah, that might make a bit of a difference.
That was fun. There was water slides. There was one of those surf machines. So we went surfing on my knees. I was not brave enough to stand up. And then after that, I went to Houston. I will say Houston didn't really have a whole lot to do. It was a bit oh, what do we do?
Yeah,
it was also Labor Day weekend, so we were a bit stuck. Everything was shut.
Yeah,
I think that's a tip. Have a little look at what's actually happening, if there's any dates, because we had no idea, and then I was like, hold on a minute, what are we doing here?
Everything is closed.
And then we went to New Orleans. So New Orleans was insane. I will say it wasn't my favorite place, but I was there for 5 days, so I think I was just there too long.
Yeah.
And then Jacksonville, because I stayed with, I have some family friends that live in Florida, and she's at college at Jacksonville.
Oh, nice.
So I got to stay with her at college for 2 days. And then my final 10 days I spent in Disney World with my parents. So they flew out for my birthday, because I turned 21 on the 17th of September. So I spent my birthday with them in Disney, and
That's
it was literally
so
perfect.
Lovely.
Yeah, and then I had 1 night by myself because they flew home a night early. And I just had 1 night running around Magic Kingdom by myself. I love life. And then I watched the fireworks. Watched the fireworks, and in the fireworks it's it says something your adventure comes to a close or something, and I remember just standing there by myself sobbing, it's over, I don't want to go home. People look at me is she okay? And I'm like, gosh, you don't understand.
I've had the best summer ever, and now I have to go home. You don't understand.
I was like, oh my god, this is the end. And then I just made the most of it, and the next I remember coming home, and the excitement of coming home to see everyone, telling everyone everything, I was so excited. I remember I was in the car from Heathrow to home. It's 2-hour drive, and I had already, in the car, got my car insurance sorted out. I literally got home, said hi to my brother, drove straight to my best friend's work down the road, and she literally, she worked in a golf club. It was so quiet, full of men trying to have their food.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh my god! And there was had this whole meltdown in the middle of this golf club.
Oh, that's
and her
so
boss
cute.
was like, do you want to come into the back? And I was like, yeah.
Take this away from the customers, please.
Yeah. But yeah, that how was my travels? I had the best time.
That's amazing. That's so cool. It also shows like how much you can fit into that 30 days of travel as well.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think people don't realize
Absolutely.
how much time 30 days is, but you can literally do so much in 30 days. It's literally crazy.
Because you don't need like tons of time in a lot of places, because a lot of them you can get done quite quickly.
Yeah.
So you can really like make the most of those 30 days.
100%. That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, yeah, just to kind of like wrap up then, last couple of questions. What would you say to somebody who is thinking of doing AmeriCamp next summer?
Just do it. You will have like the best time. Like, even if you think, oh, I'm worried about making friends, I'm worried about missing home, I'm worried it's not for me. Like, even if it isn't for you, camp will do everything in their power to make you feel comfortable. And if you don't, they'll have conversations with you about what they can do, and obviously ending your contract early and stuff. I had never been away from home like longer than a week.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So I know. So I can vouch for being homesick. Like, I think it took me about 10 days. And then once I was over those initial 10 days, I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Like, I was totally fine. And making friends, like, everyone is in the same boat. Like, everyone's gone out there by themselves. It's very rare people go out, like, with a friend or a group of friends. So everyone's there to make friends anyway. And, like, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Like, you're gonna have literally the best time ever.
100%. No, that's such a good point as well. Like, getting over that like hump of being homesick, like it's so worth it to like have those few days of being like, why am I here? What am I doing? I'm so far away from home. Like, what am I doing?
Oh, absolutely. I remember landing in JFK and calling my mum and absolutely so like, I don't know what I'm doing. Why have I done this? And she was like, you'll be fine. Like, you'll love it. I promise. And I was like, I don't think I will. And then like 10 days in, I was like, I think I spoke to my mum like once a week. And she was like, hello, are you alive? Like, what are you doing?
Like, I'm too busy having fun now. Sorry.
Yeah. And then that feeling at the end of camp where you're about to go traveling with your friends, you just feel this like, I did it. Like, you just feel this insane feeling of like, oh my God, like I did that. I'm so proud of myself.
You're like proper like on top of the world. You like go traveling and you're like, absolutely. I can't believe I did that. That's crazy. I can literally do anything.
100%. It's such a cool feeling.
100%. Well, yeah, anything else you wanted to add? Obviously, feel free to promote your TikTok while you're here.
Oh yeah, give me a little follow on Abby Weatherly X, and feel free to like message me any questions, DMs. My DMs are always open. I'm always answering questions for anyone, so feel free to reach out if you have any queries.
Perfect. Love that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today, and thank you guys for listening. It's been really great hearing about your camp experience, and hopefully next summer you'll be able to go back.
Fingers crossed.
Fab stuff. Thank you so much, Abby. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.